Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard after action report. So those of you can probably tell my voice is sounding a bit different today. That's because I am slowly losing my voice. I've had a sore throat for sort of the last few days. It's not sore anymore, but now my voice has just decided to give up. So if I am coughing a little bit during this video, my voice sounds a bit strained, I apologise in advance, but hopefully you'll be able to hear past that, and the tactical wisdom that I impart will hopefully still be pretty good. So this is the tactical video after action report for the 750 point battle that I had versus the Deathwatch. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more Deathwatch on the channel for two reasons. Because one, they're a really awesome army, and I honestly don't think they get enough coverage. I think one of the only other people I've seen do Deathwatch reports semi-consistently is Grim Resolve, and I really like his channel. I really like his Deathwatch reports. And partly the other reason is because my main opponent, Johnny, got a really good deal. He got a full Deathwatch army for about £200, and he is absolutely loving having Marines that are different to his Blood Angels, because he loves his Blood Angels, but it's always good to mix things up, and he doesn't want to use his Tau because he just doesn't like Tau anymore. And they're in a bit bad condition. But that's it. So hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more Deathwatch, which is nice. They are a very interesting army to play against as a guard player. I mean, I know they're designed for slaughtering Xenos, but they're actually really good at slaughtering guard. I think that's because a lot of Xenos armies have sort of similar profiles to the Imperial Guard. Because obviously Space Marines are all Strength 4, Toughness 4, this, that and the other. But a lot of Xenos armies, if we look at Eldar and Tyranids and Tau, they're all sort of Strength 3, Toughness 3, and the best armor save they get is a 4+. And Orcs are Toughness 4, which is true, but they only get a 6+ save. So you've got sort of, Deathwatch are quite well kitted out for cutting through hordes of infantry, and the way they do that is by just simply denying the infantry their saves. My brother is a big fan of using the AP-2 ammo on his bolt guns. Really big fan of that. Because for those who don't know, Deathwatch get special issue ammunition, and I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know they get one which is AP-1 ammo, but 30-inch range, so their bolt guns essentially become Primaris bolt rifles, which is nice. That's just a free upgrade. Or they get the AP-2, or they get wound things on a 2+, I think, and vehicles or vehicles on a 4+. He doesn't really use that last one very much. Pardon me. So Deathwatch are really good at cutting through Imperial Guard, because they cut through our infantry armour, because we just don't get any. And a lot of people complain about bolt guns not being able to deal with infantry anymore. Well, let me tell you, you get a kill team in your face, rapid firing those bolt guns with a captain behind them. They're hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 3s, and I don't get an armour save. And as you saw in that game, he was able to, in the first turn, pretty much eliminate 2 squads of infantry with only 13 models in his entire army. I mean, that's fantastic. That's really powerful. Those Deathwatch bikers, 4 shots each at close range, AP-2, they're really good, really good. And I know a lot of people think that the AP-2 is sort of designed for cutting through Space Marine armour, and yeah, that's kind of true, but Space Marines still get save, which means they're still able to mitigate some of the damage. Guardsmen just can't mitigate the damage. You can take cover on them, but whoop-de-doo, you get a 6+ save. At the very best, you can take cover and be in cover, and maybe have and that's what you're going to be running most of the time. Maybe you'll have Psychic Barrier, but probably not. I mean, you're not really going to want to put that on your basic infantry, are you? So at best, you'll be able to claw your way back up to a 5+ save, but still, majority of the time, those Deathwatch are just going to be ripping through your armour, and there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. So yeah, that's a big shout out to the Deathwatch. The bikers are deadly. Now that power weapons are so cheap that it's just rude not to take a power weapon on nearly everybody. The fact that they get Terminators in the unit so that they remain fearless is absolutely fantastic. and yeah, just so many things about the Deathwatch that make them ideal for cleansing guardsmen. So that's enough about the Deathwatch. They are an army to be respected and feared, guys. They may be few in number, but if played right, they can do a lot of damage. Things that I learned about that game, though. So, first time using the Cadian Doctrine, and I want to say it was really good. It was really, really good. I tried out the difference between staying still, so you get reroll once to hit, and then putting first rank fire, second rank fire on a squad, or staying still and then putting take aim, so people get all the rerolls. And I can categorically say it's better to go for take aim, so you get all rerolls. Now, some of you might be thinking, no, that's not true, because you want to go for as many shots as possible. Yeah, that is a valid thing, but considering you've only got like 6 lasguns in a squad, 7 if you include the heavy weapon, and considering that you're probably not always going to have 6 lasguns in the squad because you're going to have lost quite a few people, means that it's better to go for all rerolls to hit, because that affects your special and heavy weapons. So the number of times I would like roll 2 autocannon shots and miss and not get to reroll them on the squad that had first rank fire, second rank fire, and then in the next squad where I was doing my experiment where I put take aim on them so they got to all rerolls to hit because of being Cadian, I'd roll my autocannon shots, maybe hit with one, miss with the other, reroll the miss and get another hit. So I really noticed the difference. So as a first time using the Cadian Doctrine, I can say going forward I really, really like the amount of rerolls you can get, and my opponent commented on it as well, and he said that he thinks it made a big difference, because every hit that I can get against a Deathwatch army, or any Marine army, but Deathwatch in particular, is a potential to kill a guy, and he only has, in that army, I think 13 models, so every guy I could kill was deadly. Speaking of autocannons, as you could see, I did take a toned down list, partly because I wanted to. It was a fluffy game. But also partly because my opponent it was first time using Deathwatch, and if I rock up with my super competitive tournament list, it's not really fair on someone who's one of the first. It's not the first game he uses Deathwatch, but it is one of the first. So, and also it was nice to use different weapon systems. It's nice to use the autocannon and grenade launcher. I tell you what, I think they're really good in the hands of Cadians. The ability to get those rerolls to hit means that the autocannon and grenade launcher started really, really proving their worth. I mean, the number of times where I'd miss with the crack grenade, reroll, hit with the crack grenade, it was more than noticeable. It was in your face, obvious. So that's something I want to mention, because I know a lot of you guys from last editions and previous editions will have autocannons and will have grenade launchers that are gathering dust. If you're an Arcadian player, it's absolutely fine. You don't need to go out and spend loads and loads of money acquiring plasma guns and las cannons. You can do, and that's probably a good idea. But if you've got grenade launchers and you've got autocannons and you're running Cadian Doctrine, that's fine. I've reevaluated, and I think they're good in that format. I don't think they're good for Mordians, because Mordians don't get any kind of useful reroll. The best you can get is reroll 1s, but I think with Cadians, the pure reroll all misses is really useful. So that's one thing I want to say. I really did notice the difference between the autocannons and grenade launchers. I also noticed it made a big difference on my opponent, what models he was choosing to allocate wounds to. So if I was shooting at a Terminator, when I was shooting at his kill team, if I was shooting my grenade launchers and autocannons at them, he was taking them on his normal Marines because he didn't want the 2 damage I could do, or potentially 3 damage with the grenade launcher. But the 2 damage for the autocannon, he didn't want that just to instant chip his Termi. So that was interesting. So I know it's only AP -1, but even so, it can really... The fact that the autocannon does 2 damage, I think is very good. I think in the last game that I used them, when it was against the Blood Angels, and they were just really struggling, the grenade launchers were really struggling to crack open like Mephiston and stuff. I think that's just because Mephiston's really, really, he's a beast. He's got so many wound barriers to get through. So, pardon me guys. So, I think I would reassess and say, I think autocannons are quite good at killing Termies. I don't know if they're absolutely amazing, and I still think probably a heavy bolt is better overall. But I did notice the autocannon being pretty useful this game, and I wouldn't completely write it off anymore. I'm probably going to play a few more games where I try out the autocannon grenade launcher combo, give it a proper good thrashing, and play it under the Cadian conditions, because that is the only time I think it'll be useful. Because I've given them a good thrashing under my Mordians, and I've just found them really lackluster. But I'm going to give them a good thrashing under the Cadians, and hopefully I'll be able to get a bit more information on that. But first impressions, guys, like I said, I won't repeat this anymore. If you've got autocannons and grenade launchers, they're pretty good to put in a Cadian infantry squad. Pretty good. Don't think I'd put them anywhere else, but I would put them in a Cadian infantry squad. So, taking the Lord Commissar with Draconian Discipline, never really... It did come into play once. I failed one battle shock test. Because my Lord Commissar, I didn't have the flag quite in range. I failed it by quite a bit though, on my Cadians, and it's that first Flamer squad. Lord Commissar helped because when I failed the battle shock test, I think I would have lost the rest of the squad. I think I rolled a 6, but then thanks to him, he blew a guy's brains out, which was 1, and then I rolled a D3, and then I got a 1. So I did manage to save a lot of the majority of the squad, which was good, because I think I would have lost nearly everyone otherwise. So that was good. So technically that means I've lost my first model to Battle Shock, which obviously kind of breaks my streak, but I'm sort of going to say that my Mordians haven't failed the leadership test yet, so it doesn't count. But yeah, no, I've lost. So, but still, even so, that's why I took the Draconian Discipline. Draconian Disciplinarian Warlord trait, because I wanted to try it out, and it's okay. I still think it's be better on conscripts, but the fact I did like the Lord Commissar plus flag combo, it did mean that I only failed one battle shock test throughout the rest of throughout the game. And what I tended to notice is 10-man infantry squads are kind of susceptible to battle shock, but if your opponent just kills 2 or 3, you're down to a 7-man infantry squad. You're pretty immune to battle shock at that point with leadership 10. So your opponent if your opponent wants to make your guys run away with battle shock, they kind of need to do it the first time they shoot at the squad, because after that they're not going to, they're either just going to wipe the squad out, or they're not going to do enough casualties to trigger a proper battle shock test. Chimeras, I tried out. First Chimera, I thought it was pretty good. I just used it as a fire base. I didn't really notice the multi-laser doing anything, but I did like the heavy flamer on it. I thought that was useful. Last thing I want to mention, so we've covered the infantry squads with autocannon grenade launcher. Flamer infantry squads were fine, but they were sacrificial. They were cheap and sacrificial, and they did confirm my suspicion, which is a single flamer isn't going to do much to deter a dedicated assault unit. And my single flamer overwatched versus those bikers, and I only got 2 hits and then didn't wound. So goes to show that's not the first time I've used flamers. I've used them a few times in my Mordian army with my converted Mordian flamers. It does seem to be the case that a single flamer isn't really enough to deter a proper opponent, but proper assault unit. But at the end of the day, it was still nice. It was still cheap, and it was just something to try out. I'll probably still run some cheap flamer squads because their job is to die, but why? I'm still thinking to myself, why bother when a plasma gun is 7 points and a flamer 7 points and an infantry squad? I don't know. Pardon me. Last thing I want to talk about, the Sentinels. Cadian Sentinels are very interesting. I kept those Sentinels still 99% of the time. I think I moved them around once at the end just to make sure I had insurance on the objective. I liked the Cadian Sentinels with multi-lasers standing still. 9 shots, rolling 1s, often resulted in me getting 5 hits. And then that would often result in me getting sort of 3 or 4 wounds and plucking off a Deathwatch guy here. I think in total, the 3 Sentinels and multi-lasers did Trying to think, did 1 or 2 wounds to the bikers, killed 1 or 2 of the kill team, and did 2 wounds to the captain, I think. So about 6 wounds in total from that unit, which is pretty good considering that that's almost like 6 wounds. That's quite a lot of damage on my opponent considering he's only got 13 models now. 6 of those are 2 wound models, but still, that's 12 wounds. I'm trying to think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, if you consider, it's basically that was enough to almost wipe out the kill team. So it's good to know. I think that it worked nicely having the 3 shots and the reroll 1s. I don't think any of the other thing would work well. I think if you're going to be running your Scout Sentinels about, I still think Heavy Flame is definitely the best choice. But if you're Talon, I think Talon Sentinels with multi-lasers are actually really, really tasty, and I might be trying the Talon Doctrine out at some point, just to try each one out. I'm going to probably run Cadian Doctrine for 2 or 3 more games, just to give it a good thrashing, but apart from that, I think we'll be moving on to the next regiment, which is what I want to talk about finally. Obviously, I've put this picture up here. I've completed my first model of my Steel Legion revamp. I have a small sort of Steel Legion contingent, about 50 infantry, but I don't really have any chimeras for them because all my chimeras are kind of painted up for my Mordians. I'm gonna keep 5 of my I've got 8 chimeras. 1 could double as a hellhound. 6 of them are going to stay for the Mordians. They're going to stay in the traditional red and tan. The last 2 are both going to be heavy bolter, twin heavy bolter ones. I'm going to convert those over to my Steel Legion, and I'm going to have Steel Legion as I'm going to build up a competitive Steel Legion force. That's what I'm going for. So obviously I spoke in a few videos ago how I want to focus on mechanized. I think I'm going to go Steel Legion because that's tradition. Steel Legion are famous for their mechanized regiments. I'm going to have quite a hefty amount of mechanized infantry. We're going to be looking between 60 and 80 mechanized infantry, all in chimeras. Maybe Tauroxes, but for now the plan is to keep the army relatively traditional with chimeras. And we're going to go mechanized infantry with a sprinkling of heavy armour, 3 Leman Russes, and then we're going to have some Sentinels, Armageddon pattern Sentinels, because that's tradition, and maybe a couple of Hellhounds. But we're looking to throw down about 15 vehicles in the list, which should be quite nice. So the picture I put up here is my first completed Steel Legion guide. That's what I'm going for. The colour scheme is a Talon Sand trench coat with Castellan green trousers. We've got a Baden black boots and gloves, and on his back he's got a bedroll. All leather in the army, or all cloth that isn't Talon Sand, has been done in, I think it's Mornfine Brown. Yeah, Mornfine Brown. So that's his gas mask, his ammo pouches, his knife and his webbing. Lasgun is being done in Iron Breaker, with the magazine being done in Brass Scorpion, just to break it up. I know it doesn't really make sense having a brass magazine, but otherwise the gun will all be silver. And fine detail, we've got Cadian Flesh for the skin, a little bit around the eyes, and Altioc Blue for the mask. The helmet is white scar, 2 layers of white scar, and then it's washed 1.5 times with Norn oil to make it a bit dirtier, so it's not quite bright. The reason I've gone for that is because I want to kind of be able to use these guys alongside my Mordians, which are obviously tan and white with a bit of red. So these guys are tan and white, but they're a bit dirtier. I kept the lasguns relatively simple with pure silver. The reason for that is I imagine Armageddon, just their weapons are all like stamped steel, sort of mass-produced weapons. And the lightning badge, you can't see it on this guy, but the lightning badge is red circle, white lightning bolt. And the coat is washed in Seraphim Sepia and all the browns washed in Safer Sepia, and then the trousers gun, and everything else is washed in Norn oil. Yeah, I went for this colour scheme. I really, really like it. It's kind of like a traditional Steel Legion Trooper, but obviously with the tan, but with a little bit of my own take on it with the green trousers. One thing I really like about the model, which I never really appreciated about the Steel Legion before, was the lasguns. I'm so used to everyone having fixed stock lasguns, where you've got a big, long, traditional sort of rifle, especially with the Cadian ones. The Mordian las rifles are a bit smaller than the Cadian ones, but I really like the fact that the Armageddon Steel Legion have got folding wire stock lasguns. I think that makes them look so cool. I really, really enjoy it. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have got some sort of tactical improvements, and of course, I hope you are looking forward to some Steel Legion action on the channel later on. And hopefully we should be getting some Black Templar action as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.